I'm Elliot Rodriguez. We continue following breaking news on the coronavirus. Right now, we're standing by for an update from Broward County. Let's listen into the news conference.
And provide gasoline for 12 counties representing 38% of the state's population. It is important, it is vital that we keep these essential services going. A unified command structure has been established with our federal, state, and local partners, working in concert to ensure the safety of Broward County. As you know, all the cruise ships, all the cruise lines have suspended operations for 30 to 60 days. The last ship will come in on Friday, and passengers debarking require concurrent approvals from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, the Florida Health Department in Broward County, U.S. Coast Guard, Broward Sheriff's Office, Broward County's Port Everglades, and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. You may see some of these vessels anchored offshore to pick up fuel and supplies. There is no shore leave for crew. Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport. Broward County's Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport is operational. There are some reductions in flights, as everyone would know, and that's especially on the international side, due to the airline's adjustment to less travelers. We have a reduced demand for parking, and we've suspended valet parking at the airport. We're also allowing our employees to park in the parking garage as we have capacity there. We hope to resume valet parking once demand returns to previous levels. Very soon, the National Guard will deploy a team of nurses and medics to operate a COVID testing location in Broward County at the park and ride lot at C.B. Smith Park in Pembroke Pines. The parking lot must be cleared in advance for the preparations, so both the park and Broward County Transit Park and ride lot at the park are closed until further notice. Watch for details about the National Guard testing locations. BCT's 95 express customers are advised to use the park and ride lot at Anson Sports Complex, 10801 Miramar Boulevard in Miramar until further notice. Meanwhile, all BCT fixed route express bus and paratransit services are running on normal schedule, but experience reduced ridership. We'll continue to monitor ridership level, and schedules may be adjusted at a later time, if necessary. Many of our residents use our transit system for essential services, to go to the pharmacy, to go to the grocery stores. And we want to make sure that they're safe. All buses are thoroughly and regularly cleaned with biological disinfectants every night and throughout the day, including all touch points like railings, doors, exit buttons, seats, and more. We're also making every effort to limit TOPS paratransit service, which are often elderly riders, to one person per vehicle. For more information on that, you can go to broward.org/BCT. We are one community, and we must face this together. We're one county, one state, one nation, and we're in this world together. We must work to ensure that we're doing everything we can to reduce anxiety, but also to ensure that we have services in place for our people. Following the lead of the American Library Association, all Broward County library locations will be closed to the public at the close of regular hours on Thursday, March 19th, and will remain closed to the public until further notice. March 19 will be the last day that customers can pick up holds or borrow books, digital tablets, and other physical materials until the library reopens. The library will not assess fines for materials returned late as a result of the closure. We'll have Lieutenant Governor Nunez speak to some issues that she has for us, and I'll come back.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners, all of you for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit from the state's perspective. I couldn't agree with you more. We all are in this together. We're eager to work with our partners at the local and federal level, and we want the public to know that we are working diligently. Governor DeSantis has been working around the clock together with our teams, Department of Health, Department of Emergency Management, ensuring that we are collaborating and doing this in a cooperative manner to ensure that the residents of Florida are safe. First and foremost, we want to make sure that individuals have access to updated information. In order to keep our residents and our visitors informed and aware about the status of COVID-19, the Florida Department of Health has launched a COVID-19 dashboard that will be updated twice daily. Today, as of 11 a.m., there have been a total of 314 cases. Of those, 289 are Florida residents and 25 are non-Florida residents. We want to make sure that individuals continue to reach out to the hotline if they have questions. That number is 1-866-779-6121. In addition, you can email questions to covid-19@floridahealth.gov. As you know, Governor DeSantis announced previously that we had entered into a partnership with private laboratories in addition to our state laboratories in order to expand capacity at the laboratories for testing. And so this partnership has obviously increased the number of tests conducted each day, and we're working diligently to ensure Floridians receive this critical health information in a timely manner. I would say that the most important message I have for you today is something that the mayor already touched upon, and that is that we must continue to protect our most vulnerable populations, and that is our elderly. This virus has proven deadly for our vulnerable populations of those over 70 years old. We've seen that here not only in Broward County, not only in Florida, but throughout the country and throughout the world. And so it is incumbent upon all of us to do our part to protect our elderly. So please do not compromise the health of these vulnerable communities. And we want to make sure that you're following not just the CD guidelines of social distancing, but also make sure that you are cognizant of the state's requirements that we are no longer allowing visitors at nursing homes and ALFs. And we do that for their protection. We want to make sure to keep them safe. So please, we understand these are trying times. We understand that you want to see your loved ones, but it is in their best interest that the state, under Governor DeSantis' leadership, has taken that action. And so again, we want to make sure that we are working with our communities, working with our counties, our cities, and make sure that everyone understands that we all have a role to play. Social distancing, you have heard, making sure you maintain that distance, making sure that you're following the orders of your community. So Governor DeSantis yesterday announced closing bars and nightclubs, and he also reduced capacity for restaurants, reducing that to 50% in order to allow for that distance in between customers. And so some counties, some cities have gone above and beyond that. And so please make sure that you're in tune with what your city and your county is doing as well. And we continue to stand ready to support Broward County and to support all of our counties. And I thank you for this opportunity to share with you, Mayor. It's a privilege to stand here with you.
I thank you so much. And let me reassure everyone that the county is working closely with the governor's office. As evidenced here today, the lieutenant governor is standing with us. We're working closely with the Florida Department of Health, who's working closely with the CDC, and the White House and matters that are important to Broward County and Broward County's public safety. We want to assure the public that the county's Emergency Operations Center is open and fully functional, and that we're taking all the steps necessary to ensure that our people are taken care of. The issue comes up as to whether or not the county should shut down restaurants and bars and other facilities. The governor has issued his executive order. Our county charter doesn't allow for the county to shut down these facilities. It is actually in the hands of the cities. And I know that the city of Fort Lauderdale has already taken action to close bars and pubs and restaurants only for pickup and delivery. The city of Sunrise acted accordingly today, closing malls and the health facilities. I urge our cities to look to see how they can take actions that will ensure that our residents are protected. And that, again, is going to be done on a city-by-city basis. I urge at least you follow what the governor's order is in terms of closing these clubs and bars and the restaurants. That order actually stands for all of Florida. The cities can do more, as the governor has stated, but not less than what's there. The other issue that comes up often is what we're doing with our elderly populations. And we're very concerned about that. Broward County residents that are 60 years and older are receiving oftentimes meal services, and that information is still available through the Elderly and Veteran Services Division. If you are already receiving home-delivered meals from South Florida Meals on Wheels, that service continues as usual. If you normally take meals at a congregate meal site or senior center, and that facility is closed, you will receive a home-delivered meal until your regular facility reopens. If you have any questions or concerns, contact the facility where you normally take meals. Even though some facilities are closed for service, staff is still there to take calls and answer questions. If you are currently not the recipient of any meal program and are experiencing a food shortage due to COVID-19 pandemic, you can call the Area Agency on Aging of Broward County's Elders Helpline at 954-745-9779. Again, that's 954-745-9779 for assistance. If you are currently receiving other service and have a case manager, please contact your case manager for assistance. Broward County's Elderly and Veteran Services Division is open and operating, but has replaced in-person home visit with telephone contacts instead. They are contacting all clients via telephone to check on them and provide any assistance, resources, or guidance that they may need. So our businesses are struggling, and they need assistance. There are two programs that are now in place that can give some assistance, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. And that is the Florida Business Emergency Bridge Loan Program. It provides state-funded short-term interest-free working capital. The loans are intended to be a bridge, to bridge a gap that exists now between the time a major catastrophe hits and when a business has secured longer-term recovery resources, such as sufficient profits from a revised business, receipt of payment on insurance claims, or federal disaster assistance. This program is currently available to Florida for-profit businesses with 2 to 100 employees, in an amount up to $50,000 for eligible businesses. SBA Economic Injury Loan Program. The SBA Economic Injury Loan Program is a federally funded loan program available to small businesses, small agricultural cooperatives, and most private nonprofit organizations. This has not yet been made available, but I understand it will be up soon. That will be done through the Small Business Administration. And I have with me our Director of Small Business and Economic Development, Director Sandy Michael McDonald. Would you come forward and talk a little bit more about that program, please?
Mayor, to the Governor, good evening. What we would like to share for our business community is to be sure that they recognize that through the state and our Florida Bridge program and through the SBA and the federal program in terms of the loan injury, you can get that information from our website directly. So if you were to go to broward.org/econdev, we have a running page that twice a day we update that page to make sure you have the information as well as the links to speak to any of the questions or any of the information you want to know about both programs. We are scheduling for our bridge program our first meeting this Friday to begin to put all the rules in place and to make sure that we can begin to receive, review, and then process those applications. So again, I encourage the entire business community to reach out to our broward.org/econdev website. If you click coronavirus, you then will have all of the information on these two loan programs and any additional assistance that can be made available to employers, their employees that are coming from the state and or the federal government. And one of the things that we want to encourage, and it came from the state, from the governor, we want to encourage all of our businesses to complete the damage assessment survey. Is going to be through the completion of that survey, the governor and his team has a chance to take a look at what additional supports may be necessary. So please check our website. The link for the two loan programs as well as the survey is also on our website.
Thank you very much, Director Sandy Michael McDonald. The most important thing that we can do is take the steps to prevent the spread of this disease, which is to control our conduct. Now, I love to shake hands, but the governor and I actually elbow bump when we came together, Lieutenant Governor and I, earlier. We're using other means to greet folks and to show them that we do love them. So that's one step. Washing your hands regularly, and it sounds like we're talking about this too much, but it can't be, because that's how we prevent the spread of this disease. Wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds with warm water. That's better than using sanitizer. But if you don't have that, use hand sanitizer. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Social distancing, as you see, we are spread out on the platform this afternoon because we want to make sure that we're doing our part to stop the spread of this disease. That is the actions that we must take, and any other actions that you think prudent in order to ensure that we're not spreading this coronavirus further in our community. For the latest updates, you can visit floridahealth.gov or email covid19@flhealth.gov, or you can call a number 866-779-6120, or if you want more information from us at Broward County, you may go to broward.org coronavirus, broward.org/coronavirus. And we're open to questions, a limited number of questions from the media. And there's an entryway here that you make a.
We've been getting some calls from residents who are having a really hard time getting in touch with the county health department. They've got questions. They may fear that they have coronavirus. They're saying they're on hold for hours at a time before anyone answers the call. Can you address that? Are you hearing these same concerns? Are there things that can be done to speed up the timetable that those calls are answered?
Sure. So I guess the most important thing to know is if they're referencing the 1-800 number or the actual county health department.
I believe it's the county health department.
Okay. So I have not heard that to date, but I'll be more than happy to look into it. I know our county health departments are being overwhelmed with people that have questions. That's why we try to direct everyone to the website. It has up-to-date information. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of confusion as it relates to, are you truly a candidate? If you are not symptomatic, if you don't have underlying health conditions, you really should not be concerned at this point. We want to make sure people are getting up-to-date information. Obviously, we're addressing the volume of calls as best we can, but I'll be happy to check into that for you.
And that website is health.gov. And as you notice, the Lieutenant Governor actually answered that question because it's a Florida Health Department office in Broward County. So it's not really Broward Health. We don't manage or run that facility from the county level.
Can anyone speak to what is the operation or what's going on with Atria Willow right now? What's being done with those residents? How they're being, I guess, isolated, quarantined, treated, and what's the latest there when it comes to those patients potentially and the concerns and dangers that have been expressed so far?
Reiterate the mayor's condolences to the families. Of the 3 individuals, 1 has tested positive. It is my understanding that the other 2 were negative. But we immediately upon discovering the situation there, the Department of Health sent strike teams into the facility. They checked on every single resident. They continue to have a presence there and will continue to stay there until which time they feel things are stabilized. The facility has done, according to the information I have, they have made sure that they're screening their employees. They are checking on all of their residents as well as their employees. And so right now the situation there is under control, but we continue to have a presence there from the Department of Health to ensure that they have whatever support they might need.
And there's no discussion as to relocating those individuals to a different space or place?
The individuals that they came into contact with were limited, obviously, so they are taking appropriate measures to make sure those that potentially needed to be isolated, but it is my understanding that everything as of right now is flowing seamlessly.
So right now the plan is to leave those folks there, not to relocate them, and to continue monitoring those that you have placed or have been placed in isolation or quarantine.
Correct. So it's my understanding that everyone in the facility is doing well, and there's no elevated concerns at this time.
Have you had any members coming by wondering if that operation should change?
I haven't spoken to any personally. I don't know, maybe the county might have better intel on that.
We haven't received any calls from anyone inquiring as such.
There's a lot of concern about supplies and products on store shelves. Are items being rationed? Are enough items getting to Publix and Costco and some of the other grocery stores at this point?
What I'll tell you is that I know that a lot of those stores are reducing their times of operation in order to be able to restock. As of last I heard, there was not an issue per se with supplies getting into those types of facilities, the supermarkets and pharmacies and whatnot. We continue to monitor that, of course, as we go forward with this. Everything's changing, as we know, very quickly, but I have not been informed of any supplies as it relates to supermarkets.
Can I add something? There is no real supply chain dynamic at play here. So people that are hoarding product are actually doing more harm than good right now. There's no issues as far as supplies coming in, but people need to use common sense as they move forward through this issue. Limit the social distancing, but there's no reason not to visit some of our small businesses, either using their apps, using online. These restaurants are open for delivery and takeout, and people should be taking advantage of that. There's no reason to hoard food and supplies from others when there's ample supply throughout the county. So I think it's an important thing to get out there so that people are not causing unnecessary burden and panic on the system. There is supply.
We have one more question.
I was hoping you could also just further clarify what's happening operations-wise at the port. I mean, cruise operations will be stopping, but you still, like you talked about, gasoline, fuel tankers coming in, and folks not being disembarked if they're being housed on those ships and whatnot. Like, can you further clarify what exactly is happening at the port? And right now the port is open. Is there an order to close the port? Is that coming down the pike?
So here's the situation. If we were to close the port, within probably 3 to 5 days, you would have no fuel to drive here or to go anywhere. So obviously, that's essential. The jet fuel for Miami's airport, for Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach, comes out of that port. So we are running the operation as efficiently as we possibly can to ensure that we're maintaining the essential services that are necessary to keep our community afloat. And let me thank you all for joining us this afternoon.